I am Kelly Mitchell, and that's Debra Trapin, and we're Women on Wine TV. Welcome to the show, everybody. We are super excited about today's show because we are talking about a FAB holiday soiree, darling. The holidays are upon us, and we're sharing tips on how to make your next soiree exciting, memorable, and a total hit. We're creating new traditions, mixing with the old, whether it's food, frolic, or free-hearted. We dig this season and all it has to offer. We've got tips on setting the tone, bringing yum to the forefront, and adding delightful sparkles along the way to make this soiree your most inviting. Welcome to the show, my partner in wine, Debra Trapin. How are you?
I am wonderful. I am in a pitch black in my house. There's a huge storm outside. It's awesome. And technology saves the day. I'm doing this from my phone. Like, how cool is this? I love it.
That is cool, and you would never guess it because it looks amazing. So, the first thing I want to do is share our word for the show, which is soiree. And then, soiree sometimes gets a bad rap, right? So, and what is the rap that the soiree gets? Like, it's French, it's hoity-toity, and it's really not about that at all. I mean, a soiree is really a party that you hold at your home with your friends, right? Very comfortable, very inviting, very fun, very energetic. What are some of the things about the soiree aspect that you, Debra, feel embody that event?
I think the word soiree is so much sexier than the word party. Period. Like, I think to me, it's very festive, it's sassy. And I think that if somebody doesn't know how to embrace the word soiree, they probably say it soiree. That's all I got to say about that.
Whoa, that was a little gnarly. No, that was beyond darling. Yeah, I absolutely love the word soiree. It's a French word, and our friends in Paris have had a horrible time. So I want to just one moment for them and for anybody else that's undergoing the same kind of atrocities that are occurring. I don't think that we can have a show with a French word like that and not acknowledge that. So our hearts go out to Paris and to the people of France and everywhere in between that are going through these atrocities. And on a lighter note, talking about the soiree itself, we want to start with what's in your glass, Debra. And don't forget, when you hear that word, soiree, that means take a sip.
Take a sip.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to tell you what's in my glass, and then are you going to give us our quote and what's in yours?
I sure am.
Okay, so I am, you know me, I like to go with themes, which is one of the tips that I have. And so this is kind of a hint as to what my tip's going to be. I'm not sure it's actually going to show up. It's a little bright out there. This is the Cascade Cliffs Vineyard and Wineries 2013 Ooh. Nebbiolo. Now, I just tried this in early September, and the winery just moved here to Woodinville, and it is a perfect representation of the Piedmonte varietal. Now, my family is originally from Piedmonte, so they dropped the E when they come to the States. I don't know why that is. But anyways, this is a quintessential varietal in Italy. And the Nebbiolo grape is when I say earthy, I don't mean like Pinot earthy. I mean like figs and dates and just kind of those delicious, magical fruits that it's not berry. This is not a berry wine. Let's just leave it at that. It's magically mellow. It has a very low tannic reaction for me, which is awesome for my taste buds. and it's just very smooth finish. So this is, again, Cascade Cliffs. It's their Nebbiolo. I actually have it in a fun festive cup that says, leave a little sparkle wherever you go, in honor of the sparkly conversation we're going to have. They are not very social at all yet. They do use the hashtag Cascade Cliffs to talk about their wine on all of the platforms. So if you do tend to drink this wine, use their hashtag. Don't look for the handle because it doesn't exist.
Love it. Absolutely love it. Okay, so our quote is from George Sand. There is only one happiness in life, to love and to be loved.
Ooh,
Very
perfect.
simple, very
Yes,
to the point, and very French, darling.
I love
Um,
it.
okay, in my glass, I'm super excited to welcome the Maggios back to the show because they have this tremendous wine known as the Lodi Estates Cabernet 2012. This
Ooh.
one will sweep you off your feet. It's full bodied, very jammy, light in tannins, and there's a lot of black fruit. So I always go, when I say black fruit, I go blackberries, maybe uh, dark cherries. It's also got a teeny bit of chocolate in it, which is just exquisite. And it
Mm.
is so beautiful on the palate. It just makes your heart want to sing or throw a soiree. So on that note, and it's so full and rich, and for a Cabernet, full and rich is what you want, but you don't want the price tag full and rich. And this is an affordable Cabernet. So it's a very good bargain for the money. So cheers to you.
Cheers. Well, we love Oak Ridge because they are so social. They're the gal
Totally.
that runs their social media. It's like she's so on top of it. You tweet about something and she's right there, and I love that. I think that wine
Absolutely.
is so social. Why not? So to the winemakers who are watching the show, it's worth the investment to find somebody who wants to be your voice on social media, because there's nothing more delightful than when you open a bottle of wine and you share it out into the world that you're drinking it, and the actual winemaker or winery responds. It feels like you've just been touched by a celebrity. I mean, it really,
It totally does.
I love
So
that.
oakridgewinery.com, you can follow them on Twitter and get a response by tagging at Oak Ridge Winery. What I'm pairing this Cabernet with today is, are you sitting down?
Yes.
Cherry BBQ Baby Back ribs. And I'm going to have them at the soiree because these ribs are super tender. They fall off the bone. You won't get your wine glass dirty. This is a savory pairing that goes fabulous with this wine, and it will make your soiree the talk of the town.
Oh my gosh, I love that. That's hilarious. I'm gonna save what I pair this with until we get to the food section because it's so much fun. I don't want to ruin it yet.
Wait, what? Which section?
The food section of the party, of the
Mm,
soiree party food section.
absolutely. Got it. Well, chin chin to you.
Chin chin.
And
Dante.
we need to catch up on our soirees. So
Yes,
what
we
kind of
do.
food are you bringing to this party?
Oh, sister, you are jumping the gun. You want to just get to the good stuff on your tongue. I totally know it. I know you. Except for you know me, what do we start with? We start with the theme. What do we want the theme of our party to be? In other words, are we going to throw a cocktail party where everyone's standing around eating nibbles, or are we going to maybe do dessert and champagne? Or a sit down meal. For my theme, I'm definitely going Italian, thus the Nebbiolo. And I definitely want to do something where it's finger foods. That's really my favorite. I think most people like to kind of graze when they're at a party. I think the sit downs are nice occasionally, but I don't know. How about you? I tend to like the romy, like
Well,
cocktail snacks.
exactly. And that's my theme is cocktail snacks and wine tasting, blind tasting. So,
Ooh.
and not to like test people and humiliate them, but to truly have some fun, give away a prize for whoever who can identify the wines that are before them. So, you're not spending a huge amount of time on the wine tasting, but it's a little nuance, and they're mingling and walking around. One thing I wanted to mention is, because I love the theme part, in conjunction with the theme part, it's like, what is the host or hostess's role? And I think some of the best parties that I've been to or that I put on are really where the host or hostess make sure that that person who comes in the door is introduced to 2 or 3 people, maybe 1 or 2 people that they don't know, before you walk away and go back to your host or hostess duties. And because that's a great icebreaker, they're not sitting in a corner, and then they feel more free to mingle at the soiree.
I totally agree. Going through and figuring out the theme for me really helps with a lot of elements. But to talk about the guest list, one fun thing that you can do, especially if you're inviting guests who don't know each other yet, is to actually do the invitation on Facebook and make it private. But here's a fun, like, I wouldn't say it's a game, but it's kind of a game where I invite people on Facebook and then say, find something interesting about each person who's attending, so they have something to talk to them about. So it might be
Brilliant.
at their public photos, or maybe they've got a dog in their profile photo or their cover photo. There's always elements of everyone's profile that are public. And so it kind of gets them in the mood to know who the other, 6 to 8 people are there. And I think we've talked about this on lots of different levels when it comes to networking, not necessarily a soiree, but going somewhere, knowing a little bit about other people there makes it feel like you're not walking into a room of strangers.
Mm.
So I highly recommend including Facebook events, the invitation in your strategy when you're putting together your party, because this time of year, people just want to feel comfortable. They don't want to be nervous about walking into your party.
Totally. I couldn't agree with you more. And I'm kind of like, I'm going back to one of the parties that I had, a soiree. It was actually a holiday soiree. Lots of champagne. We actually lived on Kahala Avenue near Diamond Head in
Ooh.
Hawaii. And it was themed. It was actually, the theme of the party was the red party. Guests were
Woo!
required to wear red or black. And I'll
Okay.
tell you, 90% of the people, including the dudes, were in red, which is really festive. We had lights hanging from the trees, and lots of champagne and poo-poos, as we call them in Hawaii, or d'oeuvres, as people like to hear it here, because I think poo-poos scares people a little bit. But but we actually brought in and it wasn't super expensive, but it was super special. We brought in the singers from Diamond Head Theater, and this is the youth talent that's involved in their holiday productions, paid them a fee, and there were 20 singers serenading our group. And it was all outdoors, all open air. In red, you've got the colors, you've got the food, you've got the festive champagne. And yeah, one of my favorite memories of a soiree.
I love that. That leads beautifully into kind of one of my fun, like, little random tips. It's do one thing outrageously. Like, whether it's you have the budget and can serve Dom Perignon for your bubbles, or it's hiring a gorgeous, Hawaiian tribe of singers, or it may be even hiring a bartender, like something just totally unexpected for your guests, where they're like, what's going on here? Like, that just invest in that, and everything else you can kind of go frugal on. But if you just have that one wow, like, I can't even imagine the Diamond and Singers, like, you walking in, everyone's like, where am I? Where's Don O? You know?
It really did sweep a lot of people off their feet. And I think even, finding a good musician, it doesn't necessarily have to be a singer, but somebody who does a lot of kind of holiday themed music really kind of helps, cement what you're doing, whatever you have on the exterior, whatever you've asked people to wear or bring. It's that glue that kind of keeps that whole theme together.
I
So
love it.
I have a couple of crazy things. Like, I love to, like, prepare things for people to have at the party or to take when they leave. And these are actually having at the party.
Okay.
So I have a recipe. I have like two recipes. One is for confetti throwers. And these confetti throwers, I don't care if it's Christmas or it's Hanukkah or it's New Year's or whatever, but confetti throwers just add to that, really festive vibe. And then everybody has one. They can throw them whenever they want. It's not dangerous. They've got little caps on them. And I love that. And then the other thing is the homemade bubble solution and blowers. Like you can do this all at home and on a shoestring budget. So imagine bubbles, why do we like bubbles so much? Because there's a whimsy about it, because there's a childlike retreat in having that joy and not feeling like you're being judged and just doing something that's reminiscent of your youth. And then the kids that are there too will have fun with them.
I love it. I think that's such a, I think what we're both talking about here is take the time to make it memorable. Don't just be another cocktail party that serves a, basic glass of champagne and, Trader Joe's frozen appetizers. Like just take some time and make it memorable. And I love that. If we can't afford a live musician, Pandora and especially Spotify have really come together with that collaborative type of music. So even the music can be fun. It can be, if you want to do a Spanish theme or an Italian theme or a Hawaiian theme, you just type these words in now into these great, musical spaces. Something fun, a party that I went to about 6 years ago now, I guess it was, is they had old black and white holiday movies playing on the TV without the words. And so they weren't intending this to happen, but because they had a bunch of, shenanigan based actors and actresses in the room, we all started like pretending we were the characters and like ad-libbing what they were saying.
I
And
love
it
it.
actually became a really goofy,
It's
fun.
kind of like drunken history.
Yes, exactly like
How
that.
fun is that?
Exactly. And it was, for them, it was super, super simple. They just had a couple of DVDs that they had on, no vocal. And it just kind of turned into something that all of us that were at that party still talk about today.
I
And it
love
didn't
it.
cost them anything. They just had their TV on, super fun stuff.
Excellent. That sounds beautiful. I love that idea completely, and its correlation with drunk history. It's so fun. Okay, we've got like 5 minutes to go, so we
Okay.
have a lot of food turf to cover, right?
We do. We have food turf and maybe a libation or two.
Woohoo! So you want to launch with your first food item?
Absolutely. So as I mentioned earlier, I love having the themes and I like country themes because it makes everything easy. So I went to the Italian side to honor that part of my heritage with Nebbiolo. And so the finger foods and my favorite are these little diamond shaped polenta finger foods they're like a little sandwich, but they have this delicious mushroom chutney on the inside. Oh yeah.
Ooh,
Oh my gosh, Kelly,
I'm
we
I'm going to be looking for that the next time I'm at your house.
and I will absolutely make those. If you are not, super crafty and handy in the kitchen, you can absolutely get the pre-made polenta and just roll it out and then just use different shapes. I like the diamond shape, but you could do hearts or stockings or Santas or whatever floats your boat for whatever your party theme is. And keep them nice and small. I always love to see when bites are actually a bite. Like if I have a little poo poo or an hors d'oeuvre, I want to just pop it in my mouth. I don't have to take a bite in it and smushes all over. So keep that in mind. Small bites don't look cheap. They look realistic and very easy to eat.
Love it. Yeah, whenever you get a big giant chicken wing, that to me is very perplexing because I love chicken wings, but I don't love eating chicken wings that are huge and in three parts in front of other people. It's just not attractive. So little chicken drumettes, please, with the meat pushed to the top so we don't look like barbarians when we're at your party. Okay, so one of my favorites is roasted feta. Now, this sounds counterintuitive. How many people cook feta? but it's truly a delicious dish. It's roasted feta with honey, and you literally make the first the feta a little browned on the outside, then you put the honey on it, and then you brown that as well, and you pair
Ooh.
it with a nice Riesling or sweet rosé champagne. It does need to be a sweet wine because it's paired with sweet and savory, and you want to make sure that it doesn't stun them when they eat and drink. So pairing it with something similar, Riesling or sweet rosé champagne, will make you a winner.
Oh, I love that. Yum, that sounds delicious. I always love cooked or baked cheeses, so I look forward to that next time I visit your house. The next tip that I have isn't a specific recipe, but it is related to your food. And it's so funny. Like we all, maybe in the last 10 years, we've all gotten one of those like little sandwich makers. They're either like panini makers or the George Foreman, and it totally collects
The George
dust.
Foreman,
The George Foreman.
the
Like,
Ronda Rousey. Oh,
and they
sorry.
totally collect dust because we're like, what the heck am I going to do with this thing? This is what you do with this thing. You use it for your party. You create easy, small, tiny little panini sandwiches with things
Brilliant.
like, goat cheese and roasted bell peppers and artichoke hearts. Very, very simple. And you probably are noticing a theme. It's all vegetarian nibbles so far because most everyone enjoys those. Not everyone enjoys meat. So I thought I'd give some options that are fun, that aren't necessarily meat driven. But the panini maker is so much fun. And here's the funny thing about it is that when you pull that sucker out and you're using it at your party, everyone's like, oh my gosh, I have one of those too. I never think to use it. And so you totally spark these conversations about, oh, my favorite sandwich is a gorgonzola brie. And so recipes are being exchanged. It just creates fun conversation because, like I said, we all got one when they were super popular and nobody uses it anymore. So
Absolutely. Love it. Love, love, love. Okay. I think like the last tip I have is watercress wrapped in bacon with a stuck toothpick in it, put under the broiler, flipped once, super easy, super yummy, super delicious, salty, savory, yum,
mm.
yum, yum. And and that's all I have. How about you, Debra?
So I have a tip around food. That would be separate where your bar is from where your food is. Make sure that you don't have the food and the wine or the food and the cocktails in the same place. Encourage mingling by moving around. That definitely helps. If you have a self-serve cocktail bar, something where you're doing like a vanilla fizz or a festive sangria in a pitcher, again, keep it separated. Create stations in your home because that creates movement in your soiree and keeps guests constantly meeting someone new at the different stations. Unless, of course, they're just camped out by that panini maker and shoving it in. Well, then they're going to meet everybody anyways in a different way.
Love it. That is a wrap.
I love it. I love it. I
Woo-hoo.
love it. I love it. Let's see. One last thing. Can I do one last thing? A fun door prize?
15 seconds.
15 seconds, fun door prize. Put something in a holiday stocking. Go down to Trader Joe's, pick up an $8 bottle of Zonin Prosecco, put it in a cute stocking, do fun little contests or awards throughout the night, get people excited about it, have them pick it up on their way out. It is fun to get a little goodie on your way out of a party. Okay, there we go. Thank you everybody for joining us for the soiree conversation. Please join us in the stream with Pound Women on Wine. Share with us your holiday soiree tips. What do you love to serve? What do you love to drink? What do you love to nibble? What do you love to give? What kind of music do you listen to? Share it with us in the stream. And until we meet again.
Woo!